in this discussion, we're going to be diving deep into some software that you may not have heard of. It's called Plotagraph. All right, Sasha and Troy, welcome to the show, guys. How's it going?
Good. Thank you, Frederick.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great to see you.
Thank you. I know you guys are ridiculously busy. I can't exactly explain why you're busy, but you guys have been busy over the last week with some, let's just say, business stuff going on with growing that awesome company that you guys have. So thank you for taking the time out to do this interview. I appreciate it.
Of course. We always make time for you.
Good. You make time for the TWiP.
From the very beginning, you were like, "This is cool."
Oh yeah.
Frederick, you're like, from the ground floor. Absolutely, you saw Plotagraph and you got it right away.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think like many things. I forget who the person was that said. It was a science fiction writer, right? That said any technology that is any advanced technology that's significantly advanced enough, it's indistinguishable from magic. And that's kind of what Plotagraph is, which is a plus and a minus, because on a plus side, you're giving us tools that allow us to do things that we never did before or have never done before. But on the minus side, people don't believe it. They don't believe, like I've done multiple talks and I demonstrated soup to nuts like we're going to do in a second here. And people just look at the results and they're like, yeah, right. So you mean to tell me that I can take a photo and make it a video? So why don't you guys, Troy, why don't you start? Why don't you give us some background on Plotagraph, because both of you guys are co-founders, how you guys put your heads together to make this piece of software and who it's for?
Okay, sounds good. My background is a fashion advertising photographer for 27 years. And I've been a lover of technology from the very beginning, all the way through since the mid-'80s when I started. I actually had one of the first billboards in Times Square that was shot with a digital camera back in the day. I'm not sure if I ever told you that.
No.
Yeah. But as we kept going, I've been animating images for quite a long time. And I always knew that this was going to kind of come up to be an important thing for photography. Sasha and I met a few years ago, and Sasha has an art background.
Yep, so art background, fine arts, and I lived in Italy for almost 4 years, so very traditional art background, but I also love the business aspect of it. Yeah. So when we met, we actually both had this mission to help artists. So I'm coming from the traditional art side, he's coming from the photography side and the digital side, and it was just like, our missions unified, and it created this awesome dynamic of like art and photography and technology, and that's where we are today.
I have this vision, I don't know if it's true or not, of you guys, both of you, sitting down over dinner somewhere before Plotagraph was conceived, and someone saying, wouldn't it be cool if? The other one says, yeah, but what if we did this, and then this, and then this, and then suddenly, you put it together and build this awesome tool. And it's interesting because I was having another conversation a couple days ago about drones, ironically, completely unrelated. But it was about how drones came to be, and it reminded me of Plotagraph, because technologies like this, like drones and phones, our modern smartphones, are a mixture of other technologies that came before it that then allow something that smart people put together and say, hey, now we can do this, i.e. a phone, which is, all the little pieces that go into a phone, the accelerometer, GPS, touchscreen, all that stuff were there separately, and then somebody put them together. Same with drones, but you needed like the miniaturization of accelerometers and GPS and all that stuff to make it possible a drone. And now we have software like Plotagraph that takes advantage of other things like web-based services and tablets and all this other stuff to create something that now artists can use to express their vision in a completely unique way, which is, so congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're glad you like it.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy it. It's fun to play with, especially now, because I can use it wherever I am. Like when you mentioned that I was on board in the very beginning. you were browser based and cloud based, right? All that's changed. Is now no longer just cloud based, but you're also on iOS as of just recently, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we went live, I think it was 2 weeks ago, in the App Store. We started off initially with the iPad. We launched for the iPad, and this is Plotagraph here on the iPad and some different images that we have. We've set up the iOS version to be very similar to the look and feel of our social platform. So whether it's OneUp or the Grid, you go into your projects, and we've made it really easy now to animate images, both for iPhone and iPad now. But the first launch basically was with the iPad. We got featured right off the bat, and of course that's where we're high-fiving. We're like, all right, we worked really hard to kind of get it here. Yeah. And we're hearing a lot from our customers over the past year that it being a cloud-based platform only was a little bit discouraging for some people. So that's why we made sure that we got it onto iOS and Android soon also. So we're working on Android now. And we have all the Android users kind of screaming at us. Basically.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be.
It's good, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but that's it basically. So on iPad and your iPhone, and soon to be Android, and it's local, so you don't have to be online in order to use it.
Okay, so there's excuse me, there's a person in the audience right now that's watching this, and they're saying, okay, I get it. It's great. What is it? What does it do? So explain what Plotagraph is and what it does. Sasha, maybe you could do that. What is Plotagraph?
Absolutely. Well, the magic is you can take a single still photo, any digital still photo, and with the software easily make any part of it that you want move. So what we've done is we've created this way for you to use either just photos, existing photos, past photos, memories, and be able to bring all of that back to life and catch people's eyes and engage people. The fun thing about this too is once it's done, it's seamlessly looping together, so you don't really know when it starts or stops. So you end up staring at it for forever. Yeah. Even now, I'm just like looking stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did it start? Where did it end? And I just end up getting mesmerized in this memory or this artwork.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's crazy, and that's perfect. That's a perfect description of what it is, and that's exactly the way I describe it to people. And to sort of paint the picture before we do the demo and actually show the picture, it's kind of like you can take a photo. Say you say I was in Vietnam, which I was a couple of years ago, and I did a shot of like a beach or with an ocean, nice cloud pattern over this in the sky. Shot this years ago, it's a file, right? I could go bring that into your software, and I could say, you know what, now I want those clouds to move overhead, and I want the water to undulate and move like I was actually still there, and it'll realistically animate those properties, which is magic in and of itself. But like you said, Sasha, it seamlessly loops it. So when you set it going, you can sit there and watch it, and then the clouds just keep going like you were actually standing there. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of cool. That's what gets me excited about this stuff, because I like the special effects and the sort of time travel aspect of photography, and the idea of, and I said this in my talks, I say using Plotagraph is like selectively releasing specific elements of time to move. Right, so you have you freeze time. That's what you do when you click the shutter. You frozen time at a 60th or whatever of a second, and now with your software, you can go back and release parts of time to start moving again, which is crazy. So yeah,
it's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive in. Let's a picture's worth 1,000 words. Let's show some motion.
Definitely. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick here. So when you open up the Plotagraph software, which is both for Mac or PC, it's a self-contained software now that has actually a built-in social platform in it too. And that's new since the last time that we talked. And here, basically, a lot of the functionality works very similarly to what you would find in Instagram or Facebook or any of the other platforms. And you can come in here and like an image and comment and go to somebody's portfolio. Actually, the way that we have it set up is within the memberships, whether it's a free membership or all the way up to a Pro Plus membership, you get your own website included with it. And that's where we include my Galleria. Sasha and I actually, when you talk about us, talking about this over dinner, we concepted this while we lived in Italy. So the basis for, especially with Plotagraph Social, is it came together while we were living in Europe. And since we've been back and we live in California now, we kind of feel like part of its home base is Italy and Europe, totally. And so we have kind of like the combination. And I'd say half of our customers are international.
I love that. So, yeah, when I think Italian, I think craftsmanship and quality, and when I think Silicon Valley or California, I think innovation and technology. So it's kind of bringing all that stuff together, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take you down. So if you look at the tabs here, we have Plotagraph Social, we have the software, we have stories, and we have Plotagraph M, which stands for morphing, and that's in beta right now. And this is going to be a hit also. We're super excited about the morphing software. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take you into Plotagraph software right now.
Okay. And Troy, while you're doing that, I saw the different softwares on the left in the pull down. Is the metaphor that Plotagraph is a suite of individual softwares, yes, or is it one piece of software with different capabilities that you're adding over time?
Well, the way that we've set up, it's a great question, is the majority of our customers now are millennials. And millennials are more understanding of how to work something through a mobile device. Mm-hmm. So unlike Adobe, which has been around for quite a long time and it's had its designs set for years and years, yep, we actually built in the mobile functionality within our desktop also. Okay. So as you see here, even the buttons, the way that we have it set up would be similar to what you would find in Instagram or Facebook or, yep, something along those lines. So it's the combination of desktop and mobile. And we chose that functionality at the top left to be similar to what you'd find in Adobe. You have your Adobe suite. Yep. So this is our Plotagraph suite, our Plotagraph suite of different softwares within the one container. So it would almost be like if you opened up the Adobe suite, because of the way that we've set it up, you could have Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, all within the same app, within the same platform, and not have to actually switch back and forth. Other than on ours, you actually go to that tab and it pulls you into the different software that you like to be in.
I love it. Okay, good. That makes complete sense. Yeah, and I like the strategy of mobile first, right? Because yeah, you're right. It's not. Yeah, I agree. Millennials probably, and I hate to group a group of people and label them, but yeah. Millennials are probably more apt to grab a mobile device than go sit down at a computer. But I would argue that it is just the way things are done now. It's an evolution of mankind into mobile, not just millennials. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, there was a story that I read a couple months ago, and it talked about how these old guys, these old, style photographers.
I resemble that remark.
I know, right? So who've been on a computer since 92 to 2006, something along those lines, like, hey, that's me. What in the world? They're like, they kind of like were talking about us in this article as we're ancient. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be ancient. We want to keep up with this. So, so I kind of, like I said, we combine the two. And yeah. Sasha being a millennial and, you kind of like we have the whole sort balance. Of generations kind of matching there and stuff. Yeah. It's a great balance for sure.
Good.
So as you see here within the platform, you can create different folders for different projects and mm-hmm. customers and yourself and that sort of thing. And then these are all set up per image. I'm going to go ahead.
We're on the We're on the desktop version right now, just for clarity's sake, right?
That's correct. Yeah, okay. Desktop version right now, exactly.
Got it.
It was PC or Mac. And I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and find an image of Trey Ratcliffe's here to animate. So I just type in the search there, search for Trey. And I have a lot of images here that we've already animated for him, one of which is already done. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to, right off the bat, this is one of the more easier ones. And basically what you do is you just take your animation points. And I'm going to turn the image off real quick just to show you. I'm going to show the completed one first, and then we're going to start it from scratch from the very beginning, okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So you could turn the image on and off in order to see kind of what you're looking at on your points. And I'm going to go ahead and press play or hit your space bar. And let's go ahead and see what we have here.
And while this is animating, Troy, so what's happening on the background? Is it using the horsepower of your computer to make these computations, or is it sending those up to a cloud to do the math and then sending it back, kind of like, one of these Echo devices do, or like how is it working?
Yep. So this is sending it up basically to Amazon servers, and we have some of the fastest servers in the world basically putting this together. And this is how basically it works: is it goes up, sends it up, does computations, and sends it back down. I'm going to pause here, and then we're going to redo this image from scratch. It goes a little bit slow on a screen share.
Yeah.
So we're at the mercy of our screen share here, but I'm going to rework this image, and we're going to go back to home, which will take us right back to the main screen. And I'm going to pull this image back up, and I'm going to duplicate it. And the way that we have it set up too is we could actually even share files between different people, whether it's the animator or the photographer. They could actually share the same exact file.
So you can share the project with all the animation data added to it. So I could start one and say, yeah, hey Troy, I'm doing this. Go, take a look at it. And you could say, yeah, but it would be better if you put a mask on this thing or something, and I could see that, so we can collaborate, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yep. So I'm going to go back over to that image of Trey's, and I'm going to hit duplicate. And when I hit duplicate, now it gives me the choice to collaborate with. So I have this whole section here of different people that we can collaborate with.
You're popular. Wow.
So if we wanted to, maybe share it with Gary V or something like that, we can share the file over. But I'll just go ahead and save it as a copy and go save as.
If you share that with Gary V, what happens? Does he get a notification saying, "Hey, Troy has shared a photo or an image with you"?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
It would show up within his projects gallery there, but I won't do that to him right now.
No.
Okay. Cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete what we've already done here, and I'm going to go ahead and unmask all, and I'll just basically start it from scratch. And the way that we set the tools up, kind of going down the line, is from the selection tool, we have a direct selection tool. We also have a lasso tool, and then we also have area to mask, an automated mask tool in here, which is helpful for kind of contrasty items. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line across there. Okay, and then it'll mask out that specific spot. And then I'm going to go to area to animate, and I'm going to select the sky because that's the part that I want to move. So red for stop, green for go. I'm going to select that there. And as you can see, almost right off the bat there, it'll mask out
See, that's
majority
the way
of
the world should be. I should just be able to point at things and have stuff happen.
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah. So that's, we started off there with our automated mask tool, and then now we move kind of down in a line, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down in the line. I'm going to go ahead to our mask brush, and I'm just going to add some more mask to these top parts here of the image.
And what you're masking, again, just for clarity's sake, you're telling the software, I don't want this stuff to move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way that we started off right now is we set it up to be with the red mask, but if you wanted to change the color of the mask, you could do that too. And then after we've masked, I'm going to go down a little bit here to the next one, down to the feather, and usually it will start all the way off to the left. So I'll move it back there, and I'm going to move it usually about the center for the background.
Mm-hmm.
And
now you're telling it the edge between what's masked and what's going to animate, you want to blur that a little bit so there's less of a harsh transition.
Exactly. That's right. Yep. And then on the foreground, same thing. It'll show you the foreground image there. And I'm just going to drag that up a little bit, which will create a little bit more of a blur. Now, there's a few spots that I probably missed here, and I did that on purpose because I'm going to show you how to use the stabilizer points, stabilizer/anchor points. We call them anchor points on the iOS version. Okay?
Yep.
And then I also left the moon there too, because we'll probably have to mask that in a bit. So next step down is we go to our animation points, and we're going to add animation points. And what I want to do is I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to follow the cloud. I'm just going to go in the exact direction that these clouds are going. Just going to follow those up.
You just
and that's what it, yep, just
click and drag. Click and drag. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. All right, here we go. And just clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging. And then up in here too, let's click and drag. And then maybe one more right here, click and drag. And let's go ahead and press play.
Now it's working its magic. Going up
it's
to
working
the
its
cloud.
magic.
That's
yep.
cool. So completely software-based, algorithm-based, instead of you're not doing keyframes and I need this to go here and in and out points and all that. You're just saying, basically what you said so far is, here's a photo. I want this to move. I don't want that to move. And what I want to move, I want it to move like that.
Exactly.
Okay. Look at that.
Yeah. So you can see that we have the movement there. I'm going to set my quality preview here to high. I have it right now. It's set to super high, so I'm going to set it to high since we're doing a screen share here, and so we can get a little bit more movement out of it. But as you can see, there's a few things that we still need to not move. I press play again, and let's see what we have here. All right, cool. So as we see, we have the parts of the building moving there a little bit,
yeah.
And we also have the moon moving too. So I'm going to go ahead and pause that.
Oh, I didn't even notice the moon in there. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to go B for brush. So I'll do that just real quick so you can see that we have almost all the quick keys that you would use in Photoshop or most other softwares are exactly the same. Okay, and then we had a little bit of movement here on the building.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn our lines off so we can see. And I think we missed a few spots. So I'm going to go back over here with the brush. And what's fun about this is you don't even have to necessarily be completely perfect, especially with an image like this. If there's a little bit of overlap, it senses it. And basically, you just want to get those kind of edges there. And then we'll get some edges over here. And then I'm going to show you the stabilizers too. Stabilizers are really important, and actually, as you get really good with the software, a lot of people have a tendency to use the stabilizer points a lot more than they use the brush, just depending on the image.
Yeah, those are the anchor points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was going to ask you about the difference between masking and anchor points. I don't know if I'm doing it the correct way or if there is a correct way to do it, but I'll tend to mask things, but then I'll also go around and make a little outline with anchor points to pin down. I'm looking at it as like I look at it as like fabric, and I've masked everything that I don't want to move, and now I'm sticking like pins around the area that I don't want the fabric to move when I shake it, you know?
Yep, no,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Just
yep.
pins down that spot in that image. So
Yeah.
depending on the image, like a lot of masks can be good, or just a couple stabilizer points. It's fun.
Very
Can you
cool.
show them how to do that?
Yeah, as you can see here, I have the stabilizer points chosen now. So if you're an iOS user, in iOS we call it anchor points because it's a little bit more easier to understand. You know, and that's where, like I said, we go back and forth between combining the desktop and the iOS mobile. Because a lot of times, a lot of pros know an anchor point is something else in different softwares. So in the desktop, we call it stabilizers. But if you're on iOS, it's the same thing as an anchor point. And I'm going to put a few points just around. And what that does is it stops the action within that sort of position in the image. So I'm just going to put a couple around here.
Is there any rule of thumb to how many you should put in there and how many you should leave out? Like is there such thing as too many anchor points?
Yes, there is, actually. Anchor points can really slow the image down quite a bit.
Okay.
And it can block certain parts of it. And a lot of times, sometimes if you put too many, you'll see some moraying happen. And when people first kind of begin using the software, that happens occasionally, but you learn pretty quickly as far as like the correct amount of points.
Yeah.
The key is to do as little as you can.
Right.
That's the whole key, basically.
Look at that.
So here we go. Yep, we have it moving. And it's much better, as we can see. I'm going to go ahead and lower this down just a little bit, back it off a tad bit. So you can see a little bit more action there. And then you could actually, as we go down the line here, you could speed up the animation too. Right now it's set to 3 seconds. I think,
and that's a loop, just for so people may be thinking 3 seconds is not enough. I needed to go for 10 seconds. You're looping infinitely, so it doesn't really matter how long it is, right?
Right, exactly. And the seconds that it does is actually the second of the animation, but it loops indefinitely. And we'll show you on the export is you actually with a slider tell it what to do. You don't have to worry about keyframes. You don't have to worry about timelines and all that stuff. We do all of that for you very easily.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, so I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to go to 2 seconds, or let's just for the fun, let's go to 1.5 seconds. So we'll go twice as fast with the animation here.
And while that's working, Trey, here's another question. So the deltas or differences between the desktop version and the iOS version. First of all, if I start a project, say I'm out and about and I take a picture with my iPhone 7 Plus and I start animating it on the fly, is that project also on the desktop so I can continue, kind of like how Creative Cloud works, so I can continue working on that? Or are they two separate kind of entities?
They're two separate entities for now. What we've put out for the price point for the iOS version, it's $9.99, and right now it's on sale for $4.99 for our launch.
Yep.
But it is separate. It's not intertwined with the desktop. We are going to build a version down the line that will. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to have more of a pro version for iOS and for Android that will completely connect with your projects, both on desktop. So once again, you can kind of be anywhere animating and on the fly. And as you finish a project, it'll upload it to the desktop version also.
Got it. Okay. Hopefully we'll get that before you guys get acquired by Adobe and become part of the Creative Suite.
Right, yeah, exactly. So as you can see, I sped that up to about twice as fast. It looks much better. And then let's go to 1 second too here, just for the fun of it. You can reverse this animation. There's a lot of different things that you could do within the different tools. And we can add snow and rain and sound effects. And I'm not sure if we had that last time that we talked.
You had overlays, yeah. Are you able to, I know you mentioned that this might have been on the to-do list, but are you able to add different speeds of animation to different parts of the image? Like say that foreground, if you wanted that to also move for some reason, but not as fast as the clouds, which would make sense. In the case of this image, it doesn't make that much sense, but in the case of like a beach scene, or where you've got sky and ocean and you want them both to move but not at the same rate, is that possible?
Not yet. Now you could actually do that now with the way that you drag the animation points. Like if the further you drag them.
Yeah. So with the length of the track. So if you draw the track really long, it's showing what's going from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So say you want the clouds to move fast. We have them pretty long right now. But if you wanted the foreground to move slower, then you just shorten the tracks. So it's got less distance to go from point A to point B.
Okay. That makes sense. So it's already in there. Duh.
Okay.
Well, down the line, we are working on two where you can have different animation points do different things, whether it's the end-to-end algorithm or the infinity algorithm. So that's going to be cool. Something that's down the line that we're working on. It's going to be really cool too. And then the overlays, I think you've seen this. If we wanted to add snow flurries, let's see. Let's do different things here. We have snow that we can add. We can add rain. I think snow looks really cool on this one. And we can also add audio overlays. We have our alien wreckage. I'm not sure if that one would be appropriate, but
and none of these overlays, again, for the price point, this stuff is in the desktop version and not the mobile version, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Like basically, the mobile version is to animate, and these other like pro kind of production level features. If you want to do this, you'd come on and sit down in front of your computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yep, and we are going to work on overlays down the line for the mobile versions too for the iOS. Mm-hmm. That's still in the works, but as you can see, like just quickly we added snow to this particular image. We're going to keep adding more overlays to this too. Right now we have the main staples, snow and rain and smoke and all that good stuff, but we're going to add a lot more to it that'll be pretty cool down the line.
That's crazy. That's brilliant. That is really brilliant. Cool. Well, congratulations. That like I said, when people see that you can add motion like that, like to that sky that looks completely convincing and completely realistic, they're blown away. You know, they're just and you want to go through just a couple of example images from other artists and kind of show the range of what can be animated versus just kind of skies and water.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the best ways to do that really would be to go into the social platform quickly, because this is where we'll say, the sky's the limit. We have all of our customers here. We're up to almost a couple 100,000 people on the platform right now.
What?
Yeah, most of which have been in the past 6 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know, man, we're blowing up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That's crazy. Look at those.
Yeah. So as we go through here, like there's just so many different things to look for and to be inspired by, and so many different artists in different realms. This one's really cool. I think this is from Javo.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's ridiculous. I love it.
And then, so if you wanted to find like one of your friends, let's go over here and let's search for. We have one of our ambassadors, the Glitch. Let's check out what the Glitch has. So we go over here, do a little search for Mr. Glitch. There he is. We just click on his icon, and it takes you right to his page. So now anybody within the Plotagraph platform has their own website built in.
That's crazy. That's beautiful. While I'm looking at those images, most of them look very much commercial, right? So what, from your standpoint, is this art form becoming more requested or accepted, or I don't know what the right word is, in the commercial community where clients are actually requesting this type of work? I remember getting an email a couple weeks ago or actually a couple months ago before House of Cards, the new season released, and I think they had sort of an animated image in the email itself versus just a static email. What are your thoughts on that? Are we adding another tool to our tool belt, or is this becoming like, if the image doesn't move, it's somehow less cool?
Yeah, I've been a photographer for 30 years, professionally over 27 years, and photography is losing its value compared to video because everything's going to video. And that's part of our passion for starting this, is when we moved back to New York, and I've spent many years being repped out of New York and stuff, and I definitely saw a lot of photographers now are having to work as directors, work as DPs, doing a combination, because there's just so much video work that's out there. So what this does is this creates jobs now for photographers. It creates a whole new tool belt, something for them to put in their tool belt to monetize their business.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a really important thing for down the line, especially now that Facebook and Instagram and all these other social platforms have so much looping content. Mm-hmm. If I take you out of here real quick and we were to go over to, let's roll into Facebook. So now Facebook has just implemented, actually, let me reload this here real quick. Facebook has implemented that you can now use your cover photo as a looping image.
Oh, okay.
So, and right now it is set up for businesses.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when this is going to launch, but maybe soon enough it'll be set up for everybody. I think that's what the plan is. Mm-hmm. So the cover photo can now be a looping MP4.
That's crazy. That's really cool.
Amazing. So if you're looking to get attention, you're looking to stand out from other photographers or other content makers, it's really a great way, and it's really a passion of ours to help our friends and customers stand out, and kind of offer something new and different. Now that Facebook has implemented it, it's only been about a year and a half since you could actually do this on Facebook or Instagram, and everybody's been bringing now the looping down as far as like how many seconds you could loop a video now as low as 3 seconds on Instagram.
Wow, and it'll seamlessly loop forever?
Yep, exactly.
Wow. Okay. Cool. What about G+? Nobody mentions G+ anymore. Is that no more love for the Google?
We've actually been in talks with them a little bit. We've been going back and forth, and they have some special things that they're working on that we can't really talk about right now. But They
I can
are,
always tell when you're going into secret territory because you're like, because there's some stuff happening that might be interesting, but
right, exactly. But Google Plus, it has somewhat faded away, but they have some new things that they're working on, and we're working with them too, as far as to help kind of get some cool factor in there and get some looping, plotagraphs and looping video in general.
Love it. All right, well let's end the screen share and let's just do some housekeeping and talk about some other stuff. I wanted to, we talked a little bit about the social platform. People can dive in there and learn about that. We talked about morphing a little bit, the iOS, the kind of what your thought process is between the desktop version and the iOS version is. But I want to talk a little bit more about like where things are going with the platform, right? Because clearly, like even from when we first started talking, I don't know if you recall, but most of the stuff that you've shown today, you mentioned when we first started talking that it was coming, and now it's here. Right. So let's see. I want to leapfrog again. So what's coming next? Like what can we expect when we sit down again?
Okay, great question. Well, as we kind of talked about a little bit, there's a morphing software coming. Anything that loops, we're working on software to help you deliver a loop, basically. And we're looking to Sasha and I. We're kind of camera shy. I'm used to being on one side of the camera. Sasha is a model. Of course, she's used to the camera a little bit more. But we've been working on doing a lot of tutorials and live videos on social, and we're building up our platform to our following to be, quite big. It's like even surprising us. But so what we're looking to do is help artists kind of like use these tools to expand their art and to have a place within Plotagraph Social that's safe. A great place for artists to communicate, help each other out, like each other's work, and do comments. And now within the platform, you have your own website. So we're working hard on creating these websites for artists to be able to, anywhere from free all the way up to Pro Plus. And one of the big stories is, 6 months ago, we didn't have a free version of this. And it was quite expensive for just a general person to get started. Yep. So we've set it up now to where we have it gamified to where you can get in as an artist for free. There are limited tools from the pro version, but as you engage and as you get more followers and get more attention on stuff, you actually start unlocking features. For example, 25 followers unlocks the brush tool, 50 followers unlocks the automated brush tool, and so forth and so on. And we haven't really publicly announced this. It's still in beta, and so that's one thing that we're going to become quite vocal on is join the platform. And as an artist, you can kind of win your way up to having a pro version based on your talent.
That's really cool. Can I make a feature request while I have you guys here?
Of course.
Okay, so you have an iOS version now. We know iOS 11 and iPhone 8 are imminent, at some point in the next couple months as we record this. There's this thing called augmented reality, AR, that they're implementing in the next iPhone. I would love to be able to, I don't know if this is possible, but I'm a user, not a programmer, right? I would love to see real-time Plotagraph effects overlaid on the real world as I'm looking at it, tracked in real-time 3D through my phone. In other words, I want to be able to hold up my phone, aim it at a static object, draw some animation points on it, and have it move through real time, and then record that.
Okay, perfect. We'll call it the Frederick effect.
Done. I'm gonna copyright and pass my copyright over to you. Yeah, that would be. Right, would that be cool though, to just be able to do that? I mean, I don't know how realistic it is, but or the use cases, but it would be kind of cool to be able to, like sit in the park and you're like, hey, I'm gonna make that grass move, or those bricks on that building sure would look cool if they were scrolling. You kind of have mastery over your world. You can animate your entire world. So. Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, dude, this is really, really interesting. So before we close this off, what are the price points of everything, starting from the iPhone version all the way up through to the Pro desktop?
Okay, iPhone is on sale right now for iPad or iPhone for $4.99. One-time purchase.
$5.
Our Pro version now used to be at $29.99 a month. It's now $19.99 a month. And we have our Pro Plus version, which is $29.99. And if you're an agency, if you're an art director, creative director out there, we have a $49.99 agency package out there also that has customer service, a lot of sharing, and a lot more storage and stuff. So that's another thing that we just completed also is the agency version.
That's awesome. And this is all at Plotagraph.com. You want to spell that? I'll put it on the screen right here, but just for people that are listening.
Yep, Plotagraphs.com. With the S at the end. The S is for stories, social, software.
Sasha. Yeah.
Sasha. That's what I meant. Just Sasha. It's for Sasha. Exactly.
You see how I saved you there? You see that?
At least you know who the boss is. Right?
Yeah. Cool.
And then one thing I forgot to mention, free.
Yes.
Actually, you can get onto the platform for free. For starters. So we have the free social membership, and once again, it's gamified. You get on, and come on, how long is it going to take you to get 25 followers?
None. Yeah.
25 followers, there's your brush tool.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Work in it. 50 followers, there's your automatic brush tool, and you just keep going down the line, and you unlock different features and audio and video overlays and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and if you want to get into it, I would encourage the listeners to dive in now. If they want to save money, because right now it's still a relatively new technology and it's eye-catching. So you do a Plotagraph, you throw it up on Instagram and say, hey, go over here and follow me. Chances are people are going to kind of go over there to see more of what you did and follow you, thereby unlocking other pieces of the software, right?
That's right.
In a couple of years from now, when everybody's doing Plotagraphs and you guys are sitting on your island in Bali or something, and then it's going to be less remarkable because it'll be like, oh, everybody knows how to do that cool stuff, So right now it's really unique. So
and also, if anybody out there who wants a website, if they need a free website, we offer that. So you get it with free membership. And it'll be plotagraphs.com/ whatever your name is.
Yeah.
A lot of names are available.
Yeah.
So if your name is Tom, you could probably get plotagraphs.com/Tom. So whatever it might be, if you want to jump into the platform early, it's a great time to lock down your name and your space. And as you go down, you want more features and stuff, you can always upgrade.
Yeah.
But this is a great way to start off your website and to get your career rolling. We have a lot of students that we talk to. Actually, it's a great place for them to be able to kind of jump in. And off the bat, everything auto plays and auto rotates within all devices, desktop, mobile, and tablet.
Yeah.
And there's not really another platform out there like that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, congratulations again to both of you guys. Fantastic software, great demo, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next and playing with the software.
Awesome. Thanks, Frederick. Appreciate it so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
All right, guys. We'll see you.